Hey guys, it's Coach Swift on Score Points Daily. I just wanted to come out with this. It's almost like a podcast style episode, just talking about the things that they don't tell you about being an OC. Now, I want to go off and and get this straight off of the front of the video. This was my first year being an OC. I was an OC at River Valley High School for the JV team. Um, And I want to go ahead and disclaim that there's no amount of coaching experience, there's no amount of, scheme recognition of how much you know your scheme, how much you can coach your players individually, that could prepare you for your first OC job. Um, I was a student assistant at Arkansas Tech, and Brent Dearman was there. He's now the OC at Kansas, and um, so I can account that I had some very very knowledgeable people that I watched, along with other coaches I've also watched over the years that I've been on their sidelines watching them call plays. So again, uh, and I'll just being blunt and honest and saying this that there's no type of experience with the scheme or anything like that could prepare you for your first OC job. It's really going to be trial and error going out and doing it yourself. So without further ado, let's get into our top 10 things here. Um, the number one thing I'm going to say is clock management. Now, I didn't really run into this issue very much this season. I felt pretty comfortable with utilizing timeouts. Obviously, my head coach really handled the timeouts portion, but I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of situations that really warranted um, me managing the clock better. Um, I felt comfortable with how much time we had before half, about scoring points, and then you really utilizing that to either, if we were backed up in the our own 20, then try to utilize the running down the clock if it shows that we weren't going to really get a first down. Had a play like that in second to last game. I tried to call a shot play and we ended up getting sacked. So really tried to run a couple different little small plays to really run out the clock, and they ultimately got it back with about 6 or 7 seconds after we punted. So uh, yeah, could have utilized it a little bit better, but uh, we were up again by I think we are up by 10. And we forced them to punt, or it was either we forced them to punt or we stopped them on fourth down as one of the two. So it's really utilizing clock management. They don't tell you really much about that. That really again goes around to what's going to be on the second bullet here is aggressive play calling. So transitioning from clock management to the next thing is aggressive play calling. Um, I'm just going to tell you from experience here. This was probably my second game of the year. It was 25-11, I think, something like that. And no, it was like 25-10. I think actually we're up by like 2 touchdowns at least. Um, we're coming down to, I believe it's like the fourth quarter or somewhere in the fourth quarter. Um, and it was 3rd and 1. Well, me being an aggressive coach, I actually tried to dial up a shot play because I figured we ran the ball a couple times to get down to 3rd and 1. So dialed up a max protect shot play. Well, my running back was out of the game, so I had my backup running back in who didn't have as much experience um, really in pass protection, and so we didn't get very good protection, and my quarterback almost gets sacked, and he ended up getting the ball away, so it'd be fourth down. But it actually knocked him out of the game, and so we lost him for the rest of the game because I wanted to be aggressive and try to go for the kill shot. Now, of course, the route I wanted was open, and it would have been a touchdown, but um, it didn't work out in the sense of we didn't have time. So pretty frustrating when max protection still gets a lot of pressure, but you know, again, that's up on me for knowing who I have in the game. So, um, again, aggressive play calling. I tend to lead more aggressive. Came out. It was my last game of the season. We been killing them on a screenplay all game, and then I come out and hit them with like a. It's almost like a screen, and then one of my blockers went on a go route, and I told them to actually cut it in the middle of the field because the free safety was biting on our screens. Well, it actually turned out to be a 40-yard completion. We actually opened up the half with that. So, very successful play for about 40 yards. And a couple plays later, we ended up scoring a touchdown. Um, but again, that's something, again, they don't really tell you. Um, it just really goes off of your personality. As I like to go attack. Literally, the name of this channel is called Score Points Daily. So, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to go score points. So, um, that's my mentality. Is I want to have the most points per game among everybody that we play in our region and whatever conference that I'm in is going to have the most points. Win every game and go win championships. So, um, but sometimes it's really balancing that and then trying to be smart with the situation we had. Uh, Same game, I'm up by about 2 or 3 touchdowns, and I get to third and long, or I get to second and long, and try to call, a play, and we end up throwing an interception on it. I could have ran the ball and could have got, third and medium, and uh, kept the momentum a little bit on our side. So, um, again, it's really balancing out that aggressive to conservative ratio. So, number three is the scheme is not always black and white. Um, at the beginning of the season, I sat down with my quarterbacks, gave them almost like a quiz thing to really gauge not only what they understood, but also, um, what do they feel comfortable running. And so I use that information and, try to base my play calls on that a little bit. Maybe didn't really do as much of that as I wanted to, but out of that, I want to say that the schemes are not always black and white. It's really molding the scheme around what players you have. There's some plays that I ran this season um, that I didn't envision that I would run this season. Um, my quarterback, he was, I tend to like to run the ball a little bit. He's kind of a bigger, more physical kid who, again, he likes making contact or running people over. And so, with that, I actually put in some more quarterback sweeps with him. Um, that wasn't necessarily in our scheme or anything. I just tend to use him. I mean, he's going to run the ball anyway, so why not make a design and try to get him some lead blockers? Also, there's a my one of my best players. He was a receiver and he was also our H back. Well, um, there was I have a package with a fake split zone where he fakes out and runs a flat. We actually used it from our varsity, and so I ended up using that this season, and it was one of our biggest plays. And again, that's something I didn't have in the plan at the beginning of the year to run. So again, the scheme's not always black and white. Utilize the guys you have, but also try to create different plays that utilize their strengths and what they feel comfortable with because they can go run full speed and execute at a high level. Um, Number four, making sure you have the right personnel on the field. Now, uh, this was more of a game one type deal, um, because at the in game one, we had a different package in that had different players in, and I tried to call a play, and um, the kids tried to run it, but we didn't have the right people on the field, so there were people missing or whatnot. Well, we had to call timeout. So um, it may not be so much for those who run like an air raid with just 10 personnel, because this was more of like a uh, heavy package is what we pretty much use it. We use it all year, and again, making sure you have the right personnel on the field, calling it out, and getting the play and that's supposed to be ran. And then whenever that package is done, you go call regular, get everybody back on the field that was supposed to be in the regular package there. So um, that's one thing that I learned week one, and utilize that for the rest of the year, making sure we got the right package, right people on the field, so we don't have to burn those timeouts. Number five, patience with your players. Now, um, best thing I got to say on this is that some of the kids, um, they're either their first year starting. Obviously, I was on a JV team. Well, I was more of a freshman sophomore team. We had a lot of freshmen in there, so it's really making sure we're patient with them. Because again, when you got a good group of kids that are really committed to what you're doing and really, really like you and really want to play hard and win, they're going to do the best they can. Again, the mistakes are going to come. Obviously, the mistakes are going to come just like I'm the OC, you know? Uh, so, making sure to coach them up, but also being patient with them, being confident in them. Um, we had multiple center issues. Uh, there was one game where I had to pretty much play my center on a 2 day notice. He had, less than 2 days to prepare to be center, and he did a great job. But making sure you be patient with them when they make mistakes. Uh, Show that you're confident you'll make the next play, and give them something positive. Give them something positive. Um, Number six, calling plays from the sideline without a box guy. On JV this year, we didn't have a box guy. We had three coaches. Now, obviously, unlike varsity, there'd be your box coaches. But I want to just say this, even for those teams, because the reality is the box guy is not always going to see the same things that you'll see on the sideline, and so um, it's really making sure you're confident with what you're running that game plan that week. I always tried to make sure, even on a short day, I had probably a couple games that were canceled due to COVID, and we had them rescheduled with less than a week or something to prepare. Um, but making sure to watch, your posing scheme, kind of have an idea of what you're going to run, um, and utilize that because you'll be much better prepared for, what defenses you're going to see scheme wise as well. So um, I felt comfortable with the defenses recognizing them in pregame, and sure enough, most of the teams, even without film, there's one or two games I did not get any film on. Use some past film. And just kind of utilize, what I remember about them from last year to try and attack their defense. So again, making sure that preparation before the game is essential. Um, Number 7 is staying calm. Now, there's several times before the games that I definitely had some butterflies going on. And again, there's no, it does not matter how much preparation or anything you've had before the game, because believe me, well, going down to my ninth point is really being confident. I really felt confident in what I was doing, but again, it doesn't matter. Um, so staying calm, keeping a level head will help you make the best decisions. Um, Situational wise, calling plays and relying on your guys. You stay calm, then your players will stay calm. So number 8 is communicating what your players are seeing on the sideline. Now, again, we talked earlier about being prepared before the game. But it's also making sure that you check in with what your players are seeing when they're on the field. Uh, because these are the kids that are running routes. Obviously, you do your best to try and watch the game, make sure you're finding out what the best plays are. But even up on the box, because I was on the box for the varsity, I didn't really see everything that was going on the field. Um, and it's just incredibly hard for one person to do it, especially on the sideline. Um, it's really checking in with your players to see what they're seeing on the field. Obviously, uh, there was a situation where there was a vacancy whenever I called to play, that they weren't carrying one of my vertical routes. And so we changed the read, uh, to drop back and then throw that vertical route. Well, we actually threw a touchdown on it because they didn't get over and cover it fast enough. So, again, that's one of those things that, we saw in the game and then we executed it. So, um, again, these are the things that only your players can see. They can tell you about, they feel confident with offensive line telling, how they're getting movement, telling what happened on that pull or whatnot. Um, Things like that. So, number 9, being confident with what you're doing. Again, going back to, the players see what you're confident about, and their confidence radiates from you whenever you're calling the plays, and um, they'll feel confident as well. So believe in what your scheme is. Believe in your other coaches, and again, like I said, I don't know if I said it earlier, but I said we gave up a touchdown. Well, you know what? We gave up a touchdown, and that's what I told my starting quarterback on the sideline. I said, well, it's time to go score another touchdown. So, the players see your confidence, see your enthusiasm, and it radiates to their play. So, be confident in what you're doing because it definitely makes a big impact on your players' performance and confidence in you. So, the last one here, I believe, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, is probably the most important here. Is taking responsibility. Um, there are things at the first game where we got really, 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 really conservative. And ultimately, we scored like 6 points in the game. Well, when I look at we scored 6 points, I can't really blame my players, you know, uh, because ultimately, the players go out and execute the assignments, but it really comes down to preparing your players to go do that. Um, and also making sure that you have the right people out on the field and right positions. And so when I look at it from the grand scheme of things, um, when I see 6 points on the board, that means that I didn't do enough in the week to prepare them for that game. Um, So whether it means that the kids have fully committed to that, ultimately that's something you'll have to decide and practice. Again, like I said, utilizing and making sure the right people are on the field. But again, uh, when you see 6 points on the board, then the only finger that you can point is at yourself, and it's really showing that when you take accountability like that, it really shows the players, that you're selfless and you know what it takes to win is not pointing fingers at other people. Because again, whenever you say, okay, we got to do better at this, and this, instead of um, looking at yourself and what you could have done better, that leads to a lot of finger pointing to other people and dysfunction in the team. That say, okay, receivers aren't catching balls, uh, we're not getting enough protection up front. Again, um, those are the things that you don't want in a team. Is whenever you get finger pointing on, he should have done this, he should have done that, and whatnot. So. Um, On the flip side of that, it's also good to take responsibility when something goes right. Um, because again, that goes back to my previous point of being confident. Um, Saying, hey, everything that we went over in practice, is showing up in the game and we're having a lot of success. That builds a lot of trust in your players when you do that. So, um, something I always try to make sure, if we're having a good performance, um, I say congrats, y'all did a great job. Never try to really put the shine back on myself. Obviously, I do that internally, that I felt like I did a great job, but ultimately it comes down to the kids executing, and so I'm proud of the kids for executing. But always be confident that I, was able to get them there. Um, And then when they don't happen, well, obviously I didn't do good enough. Do a good enough. Excuse me, didn't do enough of a job to get them ready for that game. So, um, making sure to communicate that we're gonna work hard whenever we don't win, and but also, making sure they stay accountable because, again, you're going to use that to put the team in a better success rate in the next game. Well, again, you're going to look at who's been the most accountable in practice, who's executing, and you're going to put the best on the field regardless of, any objections of that. You're going to do what you feel is the best because you're going to work hard and be successful. So, these are my 10 things that I felt are the most important things that I learned this season, and hopefully you take them. Um, really keep in mind as you go in your first season being an OC, or I mean, you may be already an OC and you may agree with some of the things that I put here, or you could take a couple things that I said and utilize that in your own experience. So, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at coach_swift81 on Twitter, or you could leave a comment in a comment section below, and I'll reach back to you on that. If you have any other ideas for any videos, you can reach out to me on either one of those, and I'll look into it and possibly do a video on it. So thank you guys. Hope y'all have a great day.